Welcome back to a new video. So this was my training session from Sunday and Monday. So I had to kind of move around my days a little bit. So Sunday was normal. I definitely think probably the snatch curve deadlift more so than anything on Friday, but also lifted really heavy on that day in general. But I think that session I was pretty unlikely to be fully recovered to lift what I was hoping to be like really good weights in this third week. And I understand why I didn't lift as well as I wanted to on this day necessarily, but I wasn't really feeling that like high energy or aggression, nor was I feeling super speedy on this day. Not that I ever really do, but I think anyone that lifts, you can kind of feel when you feel the difference of speed and stuff. And they're just overpulled, and you see some struggles here. I still managed to get up to 120. I tried 123 twice. And then for clean jerks, got up to 140. I took bigger jumps than normal. Tried 150, just didn't have it on the jerk. And then squats, went up to 210 and then missed 230. And I really think, like I was kind of got sidetracked there for a second. I have made this, I don't want to necessarily call it a mistake, but I have done this in the past where I kind of have like, a final week or something and I go heavy on multiple lifts and then I'm disappointed because I can't then go heavy again at the end of the week. And really I have to understand that I went pretty heavy a lot of days this week for several sessions. So I shouldn't really be disappointed at the end of the week. Just I was more so hopeful than kind of expecting it. But this kind of 3-week block, I hit a lot of good numbers. The 125 block snatch that I did Friday, the 143 block clean jerk was also really good. The 160 behind the neck jerk, the 210 triple back squat, the no foot snatch, I guess plus overhead squats with 112. Like a lot of solid numbers. Push press with 120. And I have to remember that in a 3-week block that it's not imperative that I figure out every lift to the absolute maximal number or whatever I'm building. Some adjustments that I had to make. So like I mentioned, this was Sunday and Monday. I'm going to be part of more interviews for an open position for our school for the other phys ed person that they want to hire. That is going to be, I thought it was originally Thursday, but the date got moved to Wednesday. So I wanted to allow myself to not lift on Wednesday. So that meant the no foot session that you'll see next. I decided to push that up to Monday instead of normally do it on Tuesday. And I'll do the jerk stuff Tuesday, not lift Wednesday. Or if I do, it'll be, stuff at night. So it'll be like pressing and accessory stuff. Nothing too difficult to do later at night. I'm not going to want to take caffeine or really like warm up to train at 7:30, 8 o'clock at night whenever I do get home, because I'll still have to eat and stuff. So it's not really tenable. And then Thursday will be kind of a light day, and then Thursday will be the blocks day. So the days will stay normal besides a little bit of that, but that's kind of just life. But the no foots actually felt really good. So I actually did 5 sets of 3 at 85. Originally this week I was going to do 3x3s, but I decided just to kind of go back to the normal volume and just kind of have a 3-week block that just repeats instead of 3 weeks and then like a lighter 4-week and then reset it there. Just kind of reset right from the beginning, assuming everything feels good. A couple adjustments I made on this day. Really kind of the main one is with the, instead of doing power clean plus push press and doing the back squats, I'm going to do the squats tomorrow along with doing the behind the neck jerks and push presses. So I just did power clean triples, which is really unique for me, and I think it's something that will just be generally good. So I think it's just like almost like a football player training movement. Just trying to move a weight fast and aggressive. And I think that'll just be good for me to do in general, not even just for this week. So this could be normally like a Tuesday session, then Wednesday would be like the back squats and the push presses, all the overhead stuff on top of that. But with the back squats, I want to change them instead of doing 5 sets of 3, which I think was fine. It wasn't like, my legs felt necessarily weak, but I just want to push that volume back a little bit and just do 5x5 and just keep it simple in that regard. Maybe even push more reps, maybe an AMRAP set. We'll see. But I think 5 sets of 3 was fine, but just want to be a little bit more aggressive with those and potentially be more aggressive with adding in a front squat session where I do more than just singles to practice, but push reps a little bit more, even though it's really difficult for me to do from just my wrists and stuff, just holding that front rack position for the multiple reps or whatever. But there was probably the worst rep with 85 that I did. That was a rep that I could have walked forward to make, but when you're doing triples, it's not really, I don't really want to run the weights around. So I just came back and made 2 better reps. But those are, there's little adjustments I'm making to a 3-week block, but like the main crux of training sessions will stay the same. I suppose the biggest change is with the block jerk stuff. And I think the main reason I wanted to change that was in the Friday session, my theory was to do high block snatch, high block clean, and jerks from the block. But the blocks at the gym, I can do jerks from them, and it would be good for like jerk volume, but not necessarily for doing a maximal weight. Mostly because if I miss, like it can really just careen off that and roll around the gym and not be very safe. At the house, the blocks are a lot longer, so if I do miss jerks, like I don't typically drop it off the blocks with those. And even if I do, the worst thing that's going to happen is it's going to damage the shelf or whatever in front of me. Even if it throws off weird, I have the wooden blocks to kind of catch whatever weight if it's in front, so it's not going to jet back. But really at the gym, the issue is it kind of careening forward, as it happened I think in the previous video with the block snatch video, with one of the misses I had, it shot forward. So I would like to avoid that, but even if I wasn't necessarily worried about that, I wouldn't be able to push jerks as heavy with that thought in the back of my mind, even if I wanted to push heavier than that. So at the house, I can be more aggressive with that, not worry about missing or whatever. I can drop it on the blocks, or if I do miss, it's going to drop on the blocks. So having that session will be good as well, and that's kind of, I guess, an additional session, but one that is an idea that I'm taking from that Friday and moving to a session that I'm going to have at the house. So it may not always include the squats and the push presses. That's kind of another experiment too, is to see how push presses feel prior to doing the behind the neck jerks. I'm going to guess it probably feels pretty good, especially if I get the crash pads up there. The push presses should feel pretty good, especially if I'm dropping them between reps, so I'm not having to worry about re-racking it. So I think that'll just be a generally good thing for me to do from a push press standpoint, and then I can try to push behind the neck jerks. Definitely for this next 3 weeks, I want to do that. And I don't know if I'll be able to really push above 160, but if I can continually push that number, that would be really good, and potentially do some volume with the behind neck jerks. We'll kind of have to see how that plays out. But besides that, I guess that's kind of the main things I want to talk about. The main changes to the kind of the 3-week structure. The overall idea, like the E-bombs at the end of the week, will stay the same, except for the 3rd week, where I think I'll give myself the option of kind of doing what I just did in the first half of this video, of kind of just maxing out and seeing what's there. And then having 2 weeks of EMOMs and just hitting volume with the other lifts and stuff. But here I took a couple extra reps up to 105. Definitely felt the fatigue on the 105 as far as the speed slowing down. But it's kind of to be expected, because I lifted the previous day and lifted pretty heavy. So I wasn't necessarily, I actually was really surprised that anything just felt good on this day. Like all the 85s felt pretty good, besides the one kind of stinky rep. But even like the power cleans felt pretty good. And then I did an extra single here at 120. So just general adjustments that I'm kind of looking at making. So splitting up this, I guess, day 1 session a little bit potentially. But at least for this week, it's kind of necessary with just, after school stuff and being involved in that. And, not wanting to, I want to have influence of the person that I'm going to be working with next year, since they'll work with me for all the double days. I think that's important, and not really that difficult for me to kind of adjust training. And I suppose that's one nice thing with having these light days in a week, is that it allows me more flexibility with my training to adjust things as I need, or to mix and match things into different days, especially as the weather gets nicer and the school year still happens. Like there'll always be stuff that gets in the way, and I think generally for recovery purposes, it's better to have those days in general. But also it gives me some luxuries or some flexibility within the week when there is stuff that comes up. But so 2 relatively productive days. I was really happy that this day went as well as it did. So tomorrow, so overhead stuff and some squats, and I might play around. I mentioned the 5x5. I might do more reps. I might have to really play around in my head of how I want to attack those reps. Maybe I do 3 sets of 8, or, I do a crazy amount of reps or something. Maybe I do 5 sets of 10. There's a lot of different thoughts that are going around my head, but I know tomorrow will be like the heavy volume squat day. And then I would like to have a front squat day, and then a day where I push back squats a little bit. Probably not super aggressive in the first week, but I don't necessarily want to do 2 heavy volume squat days. So really 3 squat days in the week. Obviously, you can account for the cleans and all of that stuff too, adding to the volume I do in the legs. Besides all that, when I'm at the gym, I've been liking doing back extensions. So I've been continuing to add those in. And today, actually, after I record this, I'm going to do some ab wheel. So I'm trying to stay consistent with that, with the accessory work, and I've done a decent job. I have to put in my head, my very stupid head, that it's okay to not do accessory work every single day. I'll get addicted to doing back extensions or ab wheel or whatever it is and want to do it every single day, and that's not optimal for anyone. And how often I train anyway, I don't need to, nor is it good for me to do that frequently. And so doing it 2 or 3 times a week is going to be more than sufficient. But also for my knees as well, I've been doing some really light leg extensions. So not trying to push the weight on that movement at all, but just trying to get a ton of hypertrophy and isometric holds at the top of flexions. And what I actually find that it actually does kind of help with knees a little bit. If your knees are kind of feeling a little sneaky, just really, really light leg extensions. And I've kind of changed my mind over the years that, heavier ones aren't necessarily bad. But if you're really trying to just almost like work on the tendons, not necessarily, I'm not trying to improve my quad strength with the leg extensions. I'm mostly just trying to get blood into the quad, but also, in and around the knee in a way that's not going to, stress it out anymore. Like I don't really care about the leg extensions. So there's no pressure on me trying to push the weight up, but just trying to, do it with 2 and 1 leg and just trying to pump as much blood in that area as possible, since, tendons don't get as much blood as muscles as easily. But I've been doing that accessory as well. So back extensions have been really nice. The leg extensions have been nice as well. And the ab wheel have been kind of the main thing. So I haven't been doing the pullovers as much, but the ab wheel, I continue to do that because when I don't do it for a while, then do it, it absolutely destroys my abdominals. And it's probably a good reason for me to do it on a consistent basis. But anywho, that's enough rambling for me at the end. I'm excited about training right now. I think if you listen to this point, hopefully you get that, and that's because things are going well and I'm feeling good in general. Body weight's going up a little bit, which I think is helping everything, although I haven't eaten as much today as I probably need to, so I probably lost 8 pounds randomly because why not. But need to eat and then go to bed. But that's it for this one. Warm weather tomorrow, good training tomorrow, good training every day. I just want to be consistent with it and all that good stuff. One last note, what I've been realizing too is sometimes when I go to bed, it's kind of not necessarily hard for me to go to sleep, but I just kind of lay and kind of like, lie awake for a little bit. And what I need to do more is just stretch and stuff before I go to bed, not even so much for the mobility aspect, but just so I'm almost like meditating before I go to bed. And to me, it's productive. And plus, honestly, even if I stopped lifting tomorrow, I'd probably still stretch because it's just enjoyable to do. But it's also, beneficial for training. But I don't know. I like yoga type positions and stuff like that, and just kind of the feeling of stretching. So probably something I do forever just because it feels nice, and probably is a healthy thing to do. But anywho, that's truly it. So I'll talk to you on the next video. Have a great day. Peace.